He's like, I dare you. Do it. You don't got the guts. Oh.
Ooh, bacon.
Greetings, my tasty morsels. It's Reverse BLT here. Welcome back to the channel. I am continuing with part 2 of Arcane. This one is episode 5. That has the same title as the theme song of the show. Everybody Wants to Be My Enemy. I'm not going to look at the synopsis on this one. I kind of actually, kicked myself for looking at the one for the previous one. It didn't spoil anything, but I still should have learned my lesson because the overall synopsis for the series spoils some stuff. And so I'm just going to ignore these synopses. But that title is very interesting. I'm assuming that the title is inspired primarily by what's going on with Jinx now, who my poor baby Powder has grown up quite well physically, but not so much mentally, unfortunately. She looks good, but she seems kind of deranged. So I feel really bad about that. It was very hard watching her be a murderous psychopath in the previous episode after being such a sweetheart in the first part of the show. But yeah, shit went down. She stole a bunch of hex tech. I'm gonna have to try to get everybody's names here. So Caitlyn is, I guess, trying to figure out who's ultimately responsible for everything that happened recently with the theft and all that. So she went to the prison to talk to big tattooed guy who reminds me of Dave Bautista. Jayce is now a counselor for reasons that he and we have yet to understand. Strings being pulled by the other counselor with the really nice chocolate skin. So let's find out what's going on here. Some hunting? Target practice. Oh. Wasn't expecting to see Shoray's character again. Wait a minute. Is Caitlyn's family also Shoray's character's family? Was she noble also, but decided to go into
that was
being
quite some shooting,
policewoman?
Man.
Did my parents pay you to let me win?
Okay, guess not.
That's a serious accusation. I'm an enforcer. For me, knowing how to handle this weapon means being able to protect people, to be of service to the city. That's trophy enough. Begs the question, young Kerman, what are you shooting for?
The plague!
I took a look at your file. There's no record of you or your crimes. You attacked an inmate. Why? Why not?
You were standing way too close to those bars.
He was a witness in an ongoing investigation.
Bummer. Can you just send in whoever's gonna kick the shit out of me so I can get on with my night?
Oh, she wasn't as close as she seemed.
Does this mean anything to you?
You enforcers are all the same. Just asshole criminals in fancy uniforms. You know what? Find Toko yourself.
I will. Thank you.
Also, how would she even have the authority to let her out?
You want us to have a chat with her?
No.
Oh.
How many chats have you had with her?
I never even thought to count.
Now, you guys are assholes. She's stealing herself for the beating. And she heard the cane coming. I'm guessing that this opening title sequence will mean more and more to me as the show goes on and I start to understand what everybody is all about. Because I'm definitely noticing that I'm getting more and more out of it each time. It's interesting the echoes of our traditions in this world.
Who was this, Daddy?
A good woman.
The firelights have been a thorn in both our sides. They ambushed my shipment at the Hex Gates on the same day as the attack. It seems to me The council has its culprit.
Well, that's
So
tidy
is
for
all
you.
this just about
What if I'm not
Silco making
interested in
money?
playing along?
We've accomplished a lot together, Marcus. Sheriff. And there is more yet to achieve. For their families. From an anonymous concerned citizen.
These manifests are full of discrepancies dating back months.
This is a
That looks like a very dangerous library.
I'm a counselor now, Victor. It's my responsibility to make sure the hex gates are safe and protected.
What about
Oh,
complex
okay.
people's lives? For those
Not a
who need-
library.
For the Undercity.
You sure you don't want to confer with the other councillors before?
This corruption runs deep, Sheriff. I intend to root it out. Have you made
Irony.
any progress with the stolen gemstone?
Yes. Chief suspect is an Undercity gang. They call themselves Wild.
What is afflicting him? You alright, bro?
You alright?
What the bloody hell just happened here?
Here goes.
As someone with PTSD, I can tell you it is no fun. It is no fun. Having fucking flashbacks and shit when you least suspect it. Fortunately for me, mine are mostly tied directly to physical.
No, it was a mistake.
Oh baby, like physical position, like muscle memory is usually what triggers me, rather
I heard
than
the Batsby has
noises
a nice
and
view.
lights and
That
things.
could be a good way to get a lay of the land.
Yoda,
Too risky.
parkour. And parkour is going to be a little risque in that skirt. Granted, I'm not a prude, so I don't really care about stuff like that anyway, but like, my main thing is you have no protection on a big portion of your legs. You try to like slide down a rail, you get yourself a little rail burn all over your thighs, bump into something, you cut yourself all up. Nice pair of good, solid pants, man. You're gonna be running around and shit like this. So her first time being here in a while, I see. Wait a minute, has she been in prison the entire time since the enforcer chloroformed her or whatever and dragged her away? I mean, that can't be, right? I'm just gonna take that jacket, bro. Caitlin, you're not prepared. How the fuck did he? How the hell did that happen?
You almost got me killed.
My little sister could do that when she was 7.
How did Yoda beat her down here?
Blend in?
They're moving like an inch an hour.
Mages aren't bound to single functions. It's said the Arcane speaks through them.
I'm still not following.
They think.
Maybe he has the Arcane.
You think Hextech can learn? Are you sure this is safe? Of course not.
At least he's honest. I'm beginning to wonder if he was named Victor for very deliberate Victor Von Doom reasons. We're getting a little obsessed with learning how to bridge magic and science there, buddy. Oh my god, you're a sloppy eater, baby. I feel almost like that guy's killing his own kind.
You're missing out.
Tell you what, prison must have a really good barber shop. They let her keep a pretty jaunty hairstyle.
You've just made yourself everyone's common enemy, Jayce.
Why do I feel like that was your goal? My dear, I don't think you're well enough to be going back to places like this. He's like, I dare you. Do it. You don't got the guts. Oh. Okay, I was joking. That's not cool. Just killing a random animal for no reason. The nerd in me really wants to know how all this shit works. I don't want to see a rematch between you two. Well, I can't really say rematch. It wasn't really a fight last time, but still, I don't want to see them fight. I know that's where this is going. I'm already prepared for it. I just don't want to see it. It was a very nice transition, by the way. That's really interesting idea. I didn't realize it was a violin
No one's
phone.
asking you to. These are simply favors amongst friends.
I never wanted anything to do with politics.
He wants to make sure that she
Welcome,
manipulates
Amara.
your destiny
How's
for
the
her own
world?
benefit.
Counselor Medarda. Counselor Tallis.
Okay, gotta remember that, Medarda.
He's just as precocious as ever.
The man's a fool. With him, you'd be investing in the past. With us, you'd be investing in the future.
Us.
You know, Counselor Madara is right. The Hex Gates are only the beginning. And as a supporter of House Tallis, you'd be the first in line to any of our advancements.
How can I say no to such an auspicious offer?
Politics.
Hex
And it's
Tech
unavoidable.
Cupcake.
It is literally unavoidable. The whole game
Your
of
audience
politics
awaits.
is
Counselor.
I scratch your back, you scratch mine. There's no other way to get it done. You're trying to get something from someone, they're going to want something from you in return.
Indeed. Better than expected.
I am surprised as to how quickly he took to it, though. Seems like the end result of all of this is going to be the boxing out of Heimerdinger.
The one place all the secrets are spilled.
What to say? Is this like a brothel or an opium den or what? I guess both.
It sounds a bit like a trumpet.
How exactly do you propose we go about this?
I don't think you work here.
Excuse me?
If you really want people to talk to you, you have to let them think you have what they want.
And what do I have?
Well,
You're hot, Cupcake.
Sure.
literal blood money.
What a lovely surprise.
If I'm discovered, we're both finished.
Good thing you've located proof of the Firelight's involvement.
This has gone too far.
Imagining yourself a hero. One final act to make you the martyr you've always seen yourself as.
Oh, alrighty. Sometimes you call someone's bluff and it turns out not to be one. Oh shit. Dang it. I hate fake me outs. Well done, show.
He's faltering. You need to weaponize the Hex Tech soon.
Give it to the doctor.
You're the only one I can trust.
He
with this,
survived?
Jinx.
I keep seeing them. That day.
That's not ever gonna stop, sweetie.
Fear haunts us all.
Sweetheart.
Not
it's
fear,
real
it's
sad
regret.
To hear about Vander and the kids.
Have you heard anything about Powder? I think Silco has her. I have
Lies.
to find her.
I have a feeling that she lied just now.
Silco's number 2's irregular. I can have Miguel tell you where to find her.
She knows. She just doesn't want to tell her what happened with Powder.
This is all I've seen.
My father put hammers in the hands of the people, and they built this magnificent city. Imagine the wonders they could create if we put magic in their hands.
We're not often in the position to give anything back.
Oh, she's making her play.
I couldn't have done it without you.
But he's proven himself to be an apt pupil. So I wouldn't be surprised if he starts making plays of his own very soon. Might end up giving her a run for her money.
I can't figure out why it's not working.
You will. Are you headed home soon?
Oh, everybody's trying to get romance today.
I'm probably going to sleep here tonight.
Again? You know, there's always tomorrow, right?
Good night, Miss Young.
I have a feeling he might possibly be asexual. He could just be obsessed. I have to say, as someone who's very sexual myself, being with an asexual can be incredibly frustrating. Especially when you really, really like them, which makes it even harder. What are you about to figure out? So I had a really crazy theory earlier in the show where I was wondering to myself if, at first I thought it may be Jayce himself, but when they now we have Victor in the mix as well, I wonder about him. If the mage that saved Jayce and his mother when he was a kid was somehow either Jayce or Victor from the future. Like after mastering the Arcane. Oh, okay. I didn't expect the show to be like full on adult fun times. Uh-oh. Oh, it's interesting how it almost looks kind of like DNA, but like even more complex structure, like multiple strands wrapping around each other. That was really cool. I don't know what the show was just trying to tell us just now, but that was really cool.
I almost drowned in these waters.
You told me 1,000,000 times.
Vander wasn't the man you thought he was.
He was like a brother to you, and he turned his back, and blah, blah, blah. Did I miss anything?
You're just so over everything.
I've got a new one for you. You need to let Powder die, so the fear of pain will no longer control you. You're strong now, just like you were always meant to be. Jinx is perfect.
Like a baptism. Okay. So Imagine Dragons are in the show now. So we saw the number 2 lose like a good portion of her body in Powder's explosion. So I'm wondering what she replaced it with that's under that cloak. What are these golden things on her?
The doctors, they said...
Thought you knew that.
Time do I have?
Rotten luck, boys.
And I figured that was his whole reason for wanting to research the Arcane. Try to find a cure for himself. Damn, she fights dirty.
Traitor. Vander had his chance.
Come on, show us the goods. Interesting. I'm not sure how this works, but yeah. Don't punch the metal arm.
I see you never learn patience.
Nice Superman punch. hurts women just as much as men. Well, maybe not just as much, but it hurts pretty bad, from what I've been told. Crotch kick always hurts. Nice, they're even capturing how they're getting tired. It's a good animation team. Ow.
Where's he keeping her?
Keeping her? You mean Jinx? She works for him.
Oh.
She's like his daughter.
I say she's like a little more than that. She's a good shot. Is the plan to follow her back to the hideout? Because I don't understand why you didn't put her
Why did
down.
you let her go?
Do you ever say thank you?
He's gonna know we're here now.
Whose fault is that?
That was a cool little folding gun thing. She needs immediate medical attention.
I'm an excellent shot.
You gonna help me out, Cupcake?
Stop calling me that. My name is Caitlin.
But you're so
Are you two going to end up being a couple?
like a cupcake.
Shut up.
I think I can ship that, guys. But she seriously, gut wounds are really, really bad. She needs immediate attention.
The sister. She's back.
From the dead.
Oh, so they thought she died. Interesting. That is a beautiful violin piece. Everybody's been telling me that the production company behind this show doesn't claim for music, but I'm still going to pause it, and I'm going to explain why I strip music out. It isn't necessarily just that I will be claimed right now. Sometimes what happens is later, and sometimes it could be years later, as the recent unpleasantness that a lot of people have been dealing with Toei has proved. You might be fine at first, no claim or nothing, and then all of a sudden, even a company that had decided they were fine with everybody, you know, just putting things up however they do it, will change their mind. And you could have significant portions of your videos just like that get content ID'd after they've been up for a while. And that's just not something I want to expose the channel to. So just a quick explanation as to why I go to the trouble of trying to strip the music out. You know, even with companies that probably aren't, at least right now, going to make it a problem for me if I leave it in. But anyway, the show. We, I guess, can conclude from the little baptism kind of scene between Silco and Jinx that Powder has been left behind. She also seemed much more stable, which actually is kind of a thing that I would expect when you have a person who is essentially warring in themselves between two different versions of who they want to be. When they finally decide on one of them, they become much more stable. And she's obviously a genius, so I have no doubt she's going to crack this hex tech thing. And I just, you know, I'm dreading the showdown between her and Vi, you know, because I just don't like seeing my two babies fight. Just don't. I believe Heimerdinger is being boxed out by Medarva? Councilwoman, I'm going to say Medarva. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right. I think that's ultimately her goal. I don't know how much of her infatuation with Jayce is genuine and how much of it is just her trying to play him. But like I said, Jayce seems to be a very fast learner in terms of politicking. So I have a feeling that he might have some plans of his own that he's starting to develop. So she might not be quite... It might not be quite as one-sided a manipulation as she is thinking it is right now. Victor, I don't know what he's sick with. I mean, he was coughing up blood, so I would imagine it's this universe's version of something like lung cancer. It would also explain his general weakness, how slight he is. You know, he looks like he's wasting away. And another credit to the animators is that I am certain he looks visibly more wasted away than he did in part 1, showing the progression of his disease. I'm not sure if the fact that he walks with a cane, well, with a crutch, which I think it was just a regular cane before, and has been upgraded to a crutch, again, showing the progression of whatever he's ill with. But I'm not sure if that is a direct result of the illness he has, or if it's from an injury he sustained at some point, or what. But I do believe trying to cure whatever's wrong with him was his main driving force for wanting to explore Jayce's research. I'm curious what the implications are going to be about the fact that the construct he was manipulating, trying to do something with the Arcane, which I'm really not quite clear on what he's trying to achieve there, but I wonder what the consequences of it absorbing some of his blood will be. I'm beginning to wonder if my idea about one of them being the mage that saved Jayce as a kid is actually true now, because it's starting to seem like we might be looking at a bootstrap paradox kind of thing. And it also, one of the reasons why I first started thinking about it was because I thought it was incredibly coincidental that Jayce and his mom are out in the middle of nowhere in a blizzard, and this mage just happens upon them. As a writer myself, I can tell you, coincidence is not really a thing. When you write, you have characters just show up where other characters are, that when no one should know where they are, there's a reason. There's a link between them usually. Not always, but usually. So I'm definitely curious to see whether or not that's where they're going with this, and which one of them it will end up being, if that is where they're going. But my money's on Victor at the moment. So I also am beginning to feel like there's a budding ship developing between Caitlin and Vi, and that's pretty cool in my opinion. And I can see it too. They actually have an interesting chemistry with each other. So like it's almost like a Han Solo and Princess Leia. You know, you got the scoundrel and the woman of high society thrown together by circumstance, and they develop a quick attraction and bond with each other as they navigate each other's worlds. But yeah, so I guess this next episode, which will be the closing bit of part 2, will be the showdown after all these years between Jinx and Vi. And I imagine that by this point, Jinx will have some arcane weaponry to bring to the battlefield too. I just don't see her mental state benefiting from this interaction right now, especially since apparently they thought Vi was dead. I don't know if they actually thought Vi was dead, or if it's that Silco managed to conceal the fact that Vi was still around from Jinx. I keep wanting to call her Powder. Anyway, guys, let me know what you thought of this episode, and remember to use your spoiler space and tags in the comments to keep me safe and to keep your fellow viewers safe from any spoilers beyond this point that we may not know about, especially stuff from the greater lore of the games, because there is no way to know what the show will eventually include. My guess is if it's stuff, think about it this way. You see how the show likes to try to mine emotional content. So if you know something where it's probably going to be a gut punch to the audience when we find out about it, or something that'll make us horrified when we find out about it, or something like that, it's probably going to be in the show at some point. That's just too juicy. They're not going to leave it on the table. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me for this reaction. I really appreciate it. Make sure to do your best to stay safe and be well. That's all I ever really want from you guys. And I will see you from the next one. Bye-bye.
Imagining yourself a hero. One final act to make you the martyr you've always seen yourself as.
Zero Dragon!